Welcome back to the channel for another video. This week we are back on our 22 WRX. Last week we were working on our 05 STI, and we do have some parts coming in so we can continue working on this and getting this back up to 2025 specs and back on the road. But we are back on our 22 WRX. We are going to be working on the Driveshaft. So this is for anyone that is looking at 6-speed swapping their WRX to the STI drivetrain. So this well, before we talk more about it, let's go to the bench. I'll show you the part and then we'll talk about it. Let's go. All right, and over here we have our driveshaft spacer. So I already have the hardware put in just so I could see where they go and everything basically, but where this basically goes is this goes on the back of the drive shaft where it connects to the rear diff. So yes, the stock STI drive shaft fits, but when you slide it into the trans and then you bolt it to the diff, it does pull out of the trans just about like 3/4 of an inch like this. So by putting this spacer on, it allows you to push the drive shaft further into the transmission. It'll make everything stronger and everything. So anything that just makes it a little bit stronger, why not just add it? And plus it does make it the, I guess, the correct drive shaft length. But we'll get this installed. We'll get the car jacked up. We can just jack it up on the rear diff. We'll get jack stands set up on the side. 4 bolts to drop it off the back of the diff. And we should be able to just slide it further onto the trans, slip the adapter on, bolt the adapter to the diff, and then we will bolt the drive shaft to the new adapter. So I will link this in the description below. Obviously I got this from P&L. It may be available on other websites currently, but I just got this directly from P&L. But enough talking. I'll show you where you jack up the diff, and then we'll get the drive shaft taken off and we'll get this swapped in. All right, so to jack up the back of these cars, it's pretty easy. Really just wheel your jack underneath, get right to the rear diff and start lifting. Just make sure you're right on the diff. All right, and start pumping. All right, so once you got it jacked up, you place your jack stands in front of each of the tires, basically on the pinch welds there, and then you can just slowly release, just like that. All right, so we're under the car. This is our carbon fiber PST drive shaft, so we just need to take off these 4 bolts here. Once we get those loose, we can just kind of like take it off, slide it forward, slide the spacer in, we'll bolt it to the diff, and then we'll bolt it to the drive shaft. So yeah, let's get these things loosened up. Alright, so we have the drive shaft taken off, and you can see with it pushed in all the way, there is that gap right there. And that's what we're going to be filling up today. I just got it resting on that. We're going to fill up that gap today with our drive shaft spacer. So basically, this just slides into the transmission more since it's slid onto the output shaft better. It's obviously a stronger connection, so anything that makes it stronger, I am okay with. But like I said, I've been driving with a stock length STI drive shaft, either the stock one or this carbon fiber one. I've been driving like this for just about 2 years, so if you're on a budget, you don't need this, but if you're going to be racing the car and everything like what we've been doing, we definitely been gambling just a little bit, but if you're going to be racing or anything, I would definitely just recommend buying the spacer. It's $100 on sale right now. So definitely go pick one up. This is not sponsored or anything. I'm just telling you what I've experienced from doing all of this myself so far. But yeah, let's get this bolted onto the diff, and we'll continue on, and we'll get this drive shaft re-put on. Let's get it. Just like that, our P&L Driveshaft spacer is installed. Perfect fit. I mean, it was obviously we're working in tight spaces. I didn't want to pull the driveshaft to just put the spacer on, but there was still plenty of room to pull the driveshaft out, had it rest on our jack stand right there, and then I could slide it in, get these bolts tightened up, and then I got these tightened up. And I mean, that's basically to it. So now it's slid into the transmission this much further. So we have that much more surface area inside of the transmission to grab onto with the drive shaft. So I call this a 100% success. All right, and that about wraps up this video. Just gonna put the car back on the ground and we're all set. So next week we're going to be back on the 05 STI. We have brakes coming in. I just got hood struts that came in. We got a bunch of other stuff coming in too, a new iDoing radio, so stay tuned for more content on the 05 STI. I really want to get this thing up and running and like 100% like reliable until we get this flex fuel kit on, because I am a little worried with the turbo kit and everything that we have on this car. It could easily go wrong very fast with the flex fuel kit. So once we get the 05 up and running, we'll jump right back to the 22 and we're gonna raise the power and see how far we can push it. But until next time, see you guys.